Hello and welcome back to Loud Creations. Today I am going to talk about a little experiment that I did, and it's still in progress, but I wanted to go ahead and make a video about it because this is the first step in another recipe that I'm going to be creating. So what I'm talking about today is my peanut butter mead. Now, I tried to do a chocolate peanut butter mead several months ago. There's a link to the video here. And for that mead, I made a peanut extract. And then I added cacao nibs to make the chocolate flavor, which kind of overpowered any peanut essence that was in the mead. I think I could taste it fairly well, but I wanted to see if there was a better way to do peanut butter mead without using an extract. I went a little crazy with the extracts for a while, and now I'm ready to get back to not using them. Unless I feel like it, of course. But anyway, where am I going with this? So behind me here, I have my peanut butter mead that I started a little under 3 weeks ago. Now, I'm going to just start off by going over the process that I used. I did a lot of looking online, and I found a couple of recipes where people used actual peanut butter. And so that's what I did here. The ingredients for this, let me pull up my spreadsheet. Got my handy dandy spreadsheet here with all my ingredients. For this recipe, I used 3 pounds of raw honey, a container of organic peanut butter from Costco. And this is the kind of peanut butter that's actually just peanuts and maybe a little salt, and it separates with the oil on top. I'm a peanut butter purist, so that's the only kind of peanut butter I use. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. I added a black tea bag, some water. Of course, I used the Go Firm, and for this mead, I used Lalvin 71B yeast. So how did I make it work with peanut butter? Well, it was a big sloppy mess, is what it was. But I made it work. I started out with, I removed as much oil as I could from the jar of peanut butter and set that aside. I went and got my big stock pot, put about half a gallon of water in there, and I added my peanut butter. And then I brought that to a boil. So I stirred in the peanut butter as best I could. As it was heating up, it got easier. And I brought that to a boil and I let it simmer for 35 to 45 minutes. And I could see the oils and like some of the peanut butter solids rising to the surface. So I would scrape those off as it was simmering and discarded any solids and oil that I came across. And I also stirred in the honey. Now, in hindsight, that probably wasn't the best time to stir in the honey. I probably would have waited till later. But as it is, I put in my 3 pounds of honey after simmering for 30 to 45 minutes. Just because for me, it's easier to get the honey mixed in when the liquid's hot. Then I set it out and I allowed it to cool down to room temperature and scraped off any more of the oil or solids that rose to the surface. And at this point, I mean, it was a big murky mess, and there was clearly a lot of peanut butter solids left in the must. And so I put it in the refrigerator thinking, maybe if I chill it, like the oil will solidify at the top. I don't know. Well, it didn't, but more did rise to the top. It didn't solidify. And I went ahead and removed as much of the scum or oil and solids as I could from the must at that point when I took it out of the refrigerator. And here's where it got fun. I put it on top of my pitcher. I clipped a nut milk bag to the pitcher, and I tried pouring in the peanut butter, water, honey mixture. Oh, I also had put a black tea bag in there too. I forgot to mention that. So that was all part of the peanut butter honey tea. There was a black tea bag in there as well. I poured it in to this bag, and of course there was so much peanut butter in there, it got clogged up, and it was really difficult to get the liquid to go through the bag and into the pitcher. I squeezed it and just had to work with my hands. So I had a fear that I might have contaminated this. So far, it looks good. My hands were clean, but it was a lot of handling of the bag. It was a big mess. But I ended up successfully getting most of the liquid out, and I poured that into my carboy. I took a little bit of it out and I put it into a glass along with some boiling water just to bring heat back, and I added half a teaspoon of Go Firm and I set that aside. I added water to top it off and bring it up to the shoulders of the carboy. And then when the Go Firm was ready, I went ahead and pitched my Lalvin 71B yeast into the glass, stirred it up, set it aside, let the yeasties do their thing, wake up, hopefully happily waking up. Once the yeast slurry was ready to go, I tossed that into the carboy as well. So once everything was in there and I had pitched the yeast slurry, so difficult for me to say that, I went ahead and took a gravity reading, and now, like I suspected, I had lost some of the honey during the filtration process, and if I had to do it over again, I would definitely add the honey after filtering the peanut butter mixture, and then, I wouldn't be wasting honey. But here we are. The OG was 1.08. And I went ahead and added my airlock bung and put a label on it and stuck it in the closet. And I did step feed it with Fermaid O. I did that on 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, and then on the 7th day. And this thing, the yeast were happy. They were so happy that it exploded all over. Thankfully, I had a towel and a different thing to catch anything that exploded out. Made a big mess. So the yeast were happy. We got that going for us. It fermented out to, when I went to rack it and put it into secondary, it had the gravity reading was 1.00, and it looks like it's done. There's no activity in the airlock. It's been another week and a half since I racked it. And when I did go to rack it, there was about, I want to say, 2.5 inches of sediment at the bottom that had gotten through the nut milk bags, that and the yeast and all that. So it's reduced down to 3/4 of a gallon now. This is a apple cider jug that I put it in, and it's clearing out. Like, it's totally working, and I'm really excited about this. I tasted it when I racked it, and it captured the peanut flavor perfectly. It's dry, so I'm definitely going to be back sweetening this. But I just wanted to stop in and do a quick video and share the process of extracting the peanut essence for a mead, because it totally worked. I think it's going to work better than using an extract. And I'm actually going to be doing a separate video with this. I did a mixed berry mead, and I'm going to try to do like a peanut butter and jelly mead video. So when I go to back sweeten both of the meads, I'm going to take about half of each and mix them together and see what we can come up with to create a peanut butter and jelly mead. I feel like this has been a successful experiment. I hope it's useful to somebody out there who loves peanut butter as much as I do and wants to make a peanut butter and honey beverage. I think that covers it for today. If anybody has any other suggestions or any other ways that they've tried to make a peanut butter mead, I'd be curious to know. I hope this video was useful, and I will see you next time with a peanut butter and jelly mead video.